Yo, how are we doing, guys? Welcome back to True Gunners TV. I hope you're all having a wonderful Tuesday. Now, we are going to get into talking about the wanted man, following Balogun. What is going to be happening with him? Is he going to remain at Arsenal? Many football clubs interested in him, and we're going to get into that right now. But of course, as you know, before we go any further, guys, please hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you're new and you're enjoying the content. And of course, hit that notification bell so you never miss a video on this channel again. So, what do we know about following Balogun? Well, first of all, he joined Arsenal when he was 8 years old after being scouted while playing for a Sunday League team, Aldersbrook. Since then, he has gone on to absolutely tear it up in the Arsenal under 21s, which is the reason why he was given an opportunity to go out to France last season. His stats for Arsenal at a youth level are ridiculous. 90 games played, 60 goals scored, and 15 assists. Of course, that caught the eye of the Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta, and he was given an opportunity in the Europa League a couple of seasons ago for Arsenal. Did pretty well in that as well, scoring 3 goals in 5 appearances. And that then meant that Balogun could go out on loan and get some more game time, regular game time under his belt. Of course, he went to Middlesbrough to begin with, had an okay loan spell out at Middlesbrough, playing 18 games, scoring 6 goals. However, he was predominantly played on the left-hand side. So this is a guy that is not only an out-and-out striker, but he can play across the front three as well if required. And then, of course, last season, hit the heights of the hype that is surrounding him. Of course, going out to France and scoring 22 goals and coming up with 2 assists across all competitions, 4 reams, helping them to an 11th place finish last season. Now, lots of clubs are interested in following Balogun, and if you gauge just how much of a good season he had last season, you can understand why. Firstly, Reims, in the entire league campaign, had 58 shots on target, and Balogun converted 21 of them in League 1. So this is a clinical guy who doesn't need many opportunities to score. And just to back that up, in terms of XG, expected goals, which is a stat that I don't really like personally, if you look at Balogun across the top 5 leagues and compare him to every single striker, he finished only 3rd to Robert Lewandowski and, of course, Erling Haaland in terms of expected goals scored across the entire of the top 5 Europe's leagues. That means he beat the likes of Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, Harry Kane. So this is a top player, no doubt at all. This is a top player. Let's take a look at some of the clubs that are interested in following Balogun. Now, AC Milan, of course, one of the biggest clubs in Europe. We all know their history, AC Milan. Inter Milan. Inter Milan are currently negotiating with Chelsea, as we know, for Romelu Lukaku, but following Balogun is on their list if they cannot get that deal over the line. And it's not difficult to see why. You know, they need a striker that can score goals, and that is one thing that Romelu Lukaku does do, is score goals. But following Balogun has showed that he is clinical in front of goal. At 22 years old as well, he has got so many years ahead of him. RB Leipzig, another team. Like I say, this is a team, RB Leipzig, that
we've seen their scouting ability over the past couple of years. You only have to look at the players that have come out of RB Leipzig in recent years. And one of them players, Christopher Nkunku, we're going to see in the Premier League next season playing for Chelsea. Marseille, of course, one of the biggest clubs in the French league. They would have been keeping a close eye on him last season. They would have had to play against him a couple of times as well. So I can see why Marseille are interested. But the very, very interesting link for me, and the one that worries me the most, is Chelsea Football Club. Now, you only have to look at the stats for Chelsea last season as to why they had such a poor season and finished down in 12th place. The defensive stats is actually pretty good, but their attacking stats are so poor. Of course, desperate for a striker, Chelsea. They're looking to allow Romelu Lukaku to leave the football club. They had João Felix last season, but he only stayed on a season-long loan and has returned to Atletico Madrid. Of course, they've signed Christopher Nkunku, but he's not really an out-and-out striker. And apart from that, of course, they had Kai Havertz that played the 9 role the majority of the season for Chelsea last season. He has now joined Arsenal. So Chelsea are desperate for a goal scorer. Chelsea are desperate for a striker. Look at their attacking stats. 38 games played and 38 goals. That is 1 goal a game. That is so poor from a team like Chelsea, who have the likes of Raheem Sterling. They had Hakim Ziyech. They had Christian Pulisic. They had Kai Havertz. They had all these players that they brought in for big money. And last season, they only managed to score 38 goals in 38 league games. That is just so poor. When you compare it to Arsenal and Manchester City, it just goes to show where the problems lie at Chelsea. So I am not surprised one little bit that Chelsea are looking at following Balogun after the season that he has had last season. Now, do Arsenal want to keep following Balogun? That is the next question. Of course, you'll have all seen he had an interview and he said that he wants to come back to Arsenal and be given an opportunity to play. Otherwise, he wants to leave the football club on a permanent deal. He doesn't want any more loans. He feels that it is his time at Arsenal now to be given an opportunity to play week in, week out, and try and break into the first team. Now, what we do know is Balogun is currently on his way to Germany for Arsenal's first pre-season game against Nuremberg. And it's looking like Mikel Arteta is going to give him the opportunity that he requires over there in pre-season to impress, basically. And it's going to be interesting to see, because at the same time, of course, Arsenal have a lot to do in the transfer market, not just in terms of incomings, because we've already seen a lot of incomings coming in, but moving players on as well. And based off of the fact that they need to recoup a little bit of money from the Declan Rice deal and the Kai Havertz deal and the Timber deal, having already spent £200 million, Balogun is an opportunity for Arsenal to make a little bit of money. £50 million price tag has been slapped on his head. Of course, he had a great season. His stock is high right now, and Arsenal could cash in and get £50 million for Balogun, especially with Chelsea being interested. We know exactly what Chelsea are like when it comes to splashing the cash just lately. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this situation and what happens. My personal opinion, I'd like Arsenal to keep Balogun. I think he would be an excellent option off the bench. and maybe in certain games as well. He offers us something different. If you go and look at his goals for Reims last season, you can just see that this guy has the natural ability to be the number 9. You know, he scores all different types of goals. He can offer us something different to Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah. I'd be more inclined to give him an opportunity ahead of Eddie Nketiah, because we've already seen that Eddie Nketiah just simply cannot cut it at the top end for Arsenal. So I'd be looking to give this guy an opportunity, and hopefully, you know, we have an absolute gem on our hands and can get the best out of him. So that would be my view on Balogun. I would keep him at Arsenal. But listen, guys, this is all about you. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think Arsenal should do with Balogun? Should we keep him? Would you sell him to Chelsea? Would you sell him to Chelsea? If Chelsea was the only club out of all of them that were interested, that were willing to pay the money, would you allow him to join one of our rivals in the Premier League? Do you think Arsenal would get 50 million for Balogun as well? Let me know in the comment section, guys, and make sure you keep your eyes peeled later on, because there will be another video coming out on the channel talking about Jeremy Frimpong. No idea who this guy is. That will be dropping at 8 p.m. But thanks for watching. I'm getting out of here, guys.